Good afternoon. It is Tuesday, April 12th. Skipped yesterday. I managed to both get groceries and play D&D with my buddies. Quite a successful evening. On to today. Today is movie day. And I have to admit that last week on movie day, I made a mistake. So I had made the decision, I wanted to jump into the Harry Potter series. Now there are two places I could start the Harry Potter series. I could start with Harry Potter Year 1. That makes sense. Or we have prequels now. Fantastic Beasts movies, which I don't keep in the F's, I keep in the H's. It is the prequels to Harry Potter. Same as the Hobbit movies go with Lord of the Rings. I keep those together as far as my organization. So I could start there, but I was like, well, I don't have to because they're not all out. So I was like, why would I just watch those two and then watch all the Harry Potter ones when I could watch the Harry Potter ones now and then watch the Fantastic Beasts ones a bit later in the year before the sequel, the third one, comes out in November. And some of you see where I made a mistake. See, apparently, what I found out is this weekend I'm playing on my phone, and an ad comes up for Fantastic Beasts. So they've been coming up for months. That's fine. It's normal. Movies do that. And I just happened to notice the word April go by. I was like, what do you mean April? What do you mean April 15th? They come out in November. They've always come out in November. 2 for 2, November. Well, I am glad that I noticed, because otherwise, it would be out of theaters before I found out, because by November, it's no longer going to be in the movie theaters. But they went and switched Secrets of Dumbledore to release April 15th. Why? I don't know, because they hate me. They want to be obnoxious. So, I now have a few options. I can just keep going through Harry Potter, whatever, go watch the movie. I don't have to watch them before going to see it. That's fine. Or, I could jump back, do Fantastic Beasts, and where to find them. Then the movie comes out this Friday. And on the following Tuesday, watch Crimes of Grindelwald. And then maybe the following Tuesday, or maybe over the weekend, whatever, go to the theater to see Secrets of Dumbledore. Now, the downside to that is I have to try and avoid spoilers. If I would have just started last week watching Fantastic Beasts, it would have been Fantastic Beasts. This week, Fantastic Beasts. It comes out this Friday. I'd be ready for it either on Friday or next Tuesday. I made a mistake. I should have just watched Fantastic Beasts. I didn't know. I thought it was coming out in November like they always do. It's probably originally was, and then because it got pushed back for different things with the pandemic, I'm sure eventually they're just like, we're not going to push it back another half a year, and so they decided to do it now. And so I think I'm going to just step back, and I'm going to choose to watch them and have my memory refreshed before going to see. So I am going to go to Fantastic Beasts and Where to Find Them. And I would give Fantastic Beasts and Where to Find Them a 9 out of 10. This is a fantastic movie. From the back of the box. Something mysterious is leaving a path of destruction in the streets of 1926 New York, threatening to expose the wizarding community. Newt Scamander arrives in the city, nearing the end of a global excursion to research and rescue magical creatures, when unsuspecting nomage Jacob Kowalski inadvertently lets some of Newt's beasts loose. A band of unlikely heroes must recover the missing beasts before they come to harm, but their mission puts them on a collision course with dark forces. Which hints at the fact that there are two plots in this movie. The title plot. Fantastic Beasts and Where to Find Them. Newt comes into town with his case of magical creatures. It's bigger on the inside. He is on a mission to get a Thunderbird to Arizona to set it free in its native land. So that's why he's coming to America. But through chaos caused by a Niffler, he ends up with a switcheroo on the case, and he ends up with a case full of pastries, and this Jacob guy, the Nomaj, ends up with a case full of magical beasts. And, well, not knowing what to do, some of them get out. So, the title plot is involvement between those two, as well as Tina and Goldie, who work at the Makusa Magical Congress of the United States of America office, helping to collect all the creatures and put them back in the case before the creatures get hurt or cause too much chaos. So that's the title plot, and definitely involves some fun interaction and scenes of cool magical beasts and learning about them and all that stuff that you're going to do if you hang out with Newt Scamander. But it does intersect them with Graves, who's working at Makusa law enforcement, basically. Although there's something a little shady going on with Graves and his interaction with Credence, the boy from the New Salem Society family, trying to stir things up because there be witches out there and we need to burn them at the stake. Graves wants something from Credence, but he doesn't know what. Well, he knows what. He knows it's an Obscurious, which we know of from Harry Potter, Dumbledore's sister, and the horror that she went through trying to suppress her magic and it exploding out of her, causing death and destruction beyond her control. But where is this Obscurious? We know it's somewhere around Credence's mother. And they don't tend to live that long, so it's probably a child of 10 or younger. But it's not. Credence is older than that. Credence is the Obscurious. But Graves is too blinded by what he knows about them to see that that's who he's looking at the whole time. And by the time he does see, he's upset Credence. You don't want to upset a boy who has magic exploding out of him uncontrollably. So around the time that our quartet figures out gets all the beasts put together and figures out there's something going on with Graves that isn't what it should be. He's after something that's not what Makusa is after. And it's by that point that he's stirred Credence up to cause destruction across New York in a way that they can't go about obliviating everyone one at a time to clear all the memories of everyone who's noticed. It's out of control. What are they going to do? But working together, they nearly get the Obscurial calmed down. And then the Aurors show up and they blast it into pieces. Destroyed? Well, you'd think so, except we see a bit of it fly off into the distance and escape. I'm sure he'll be back. No. But something's going on with Graves. Revelio. It is the esteemed, the terrible Grindelwald. Gee, he's got a duel with Dumbledore, but that's in the future from this setting. Can't wait to get to it. So they work to arrest Grindelwald, and Newt is in the good graces of Makusa. And he's able to help further, because we can't obliviate all these people, but Newt has a swooping evil, whose venom, if diluted properly, would be able to remove terrible memories. Well, what a terrible night New York has just had. And he has a Thunderbird that can dilute it into rain, and just flood the waters of New York with this diluted venom, and wipe the memories of all those terrible occurrences. But Jacob, our no-match friend, doesn't get to be exempt from it. Though how many of his memories are, strictly speaking, terrible memories? Perhaps we'll find out, because Newt heads off, says some flirtatious goodbyes to Tina, and we see that Jacob's bakery, which he finally gets to open, has some curious-looking pastries, much akin to some of the magical beasts that we've been trying to find as the movie progressed. So fun. See, the thing is, I love the Harry Potter movies. I do. They're great. And I love that world. But this does one better. In a couple of ways. First and foremost, it is a period film. I love a period film. I so enjoy just seeing the setting and the atmosphere of 1920s New York. Just the environment, the attire, just the look of it, and the sound of it. The music does so great to just fit it into the period. It's very wonderful. So I love that. Also, and again, I love the Harry Potter films. Don't get me wrong. It's adults. You get to see adult wizards doing adult wizard stuff. Wizards with jobs. Wizards trying to do things that, I mean, we see some of in Harry Potter, but are, in that, the leading trio that is not who they are. A little bit by the end, we start to see some of it. But in this one, that is our stars. That is our heroes, are the adults. And I love seeing that part of the wizarding community so in detail. I also have to give it credit that this movie tells a solid and complete story. It sets up for, Grindelwald is being arrested because that's moving forward. Do you think you'll be able to keep me? We'll try. You know, the Obscuro disappearing off into the distance, like, it sets up. You know, it ends with that glimpse of, wait a minute, Jacob remembers some stuff clearly. We know it, that he knows it. Like, there are just some scenes in there that set up for that. But, overall, the movie tells a complete story that doesn't rely on outside movie or knowledge. It does a great job with that. And as it is setting up for a series, that's impressive, and I quite enjoy it. It could stand alone. I guess I can compare it to a couple movies that would not be that case that I watched. When I watched Golden Compass and Aragon, which were movies where they were the first part of a series and they did not do such a great job of standing on their own. This movie bothered to stand on its own. If we just got this one, this still would have been a quality and enjoyable movie. I also love the character of is it Eddie Redmayne? I think that's the actor. But just the way he plays that character, the physicality, the character, like, he has a tendency to, like, crouch in on himself. From the point where you see him on the boat and he's, like, leaning over his case and he's just, like, it just, this sort of hunched in, enclosed awkwardness that he has as a person, because he's a person that doesn't deal with people that well. He's not good at it. To just the willingness to do weird mating dances with an erumpent horn to try and calm it down, and just the physicality he gets into that, because he knows animals. That's what he's familiar with. That's where his comfort level lies. He knows fantastic beasts. And it makes him quite lovable. He's an animal lover. People like that, I think. And I love just sort of the comments and things of Jacob, and just like, people like you. People don't like Newt. He's awkward. People like Jacob. I like Jacob. He's a likable guy. Anyways, good movie. It's fun to watch. Trying to catch up and make up for the mistake of starting with the first Harry Potter when I should have started with this one last week. Oh well. I'll fix it. In a few weeks, we'll get back onto Harry Potter after watching through these. For now, I'm going to call it a night. Thank you for joining me, and join me as my journey continues